Hey there, comic book fans. It's Rusty again with Collector Auctions. And as you can see, I'm sitting here in the car. I'm getting ready to go into Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland for a new comic book day. And just like the last time when I did my very first new comic book day video, this is not going to be timely. So if you guys are looking for this channel to look for those new comic book day, those hot releases, and to get some information about those books, that's not what this channel is going to do, mostly because I don't have time to do the videos on the days, on new comic book days, and get that video out and have that timely information for you. But what we're going to do is this is going to be sort of like a comic book haul video where I use new comic book day to catch up and get the comics that I missed when I did my pre-order with my subscription service. Now, you've seen some videos lately where I've been putting out, I do New Comic Book Month, where I get all my new comics from M&M Comics, and I get those in once a month. And I use New Comic Book Day, since I do have local comic book shops near me, to go in and catch some of the books that I might have missed in my pre-order. And that's what this channel is going to do from this point on when I do these New Comic Book Day videos. So I'm going to get ready to go in, and I've got a few books that I know that I missed on my pre-order. It's not a big list today, and I don't think it's a really big week for new comic books anyway. But we'll go in, and I may not do as much footage inside the store this time and just focus on the new comic books maybe a little bit. We'll see how that goes. It depends on how many people are standing in there. If there's a lot of people in there, I may not shoot too much video, maybe just of the books. We'll see how that goes. But I will spotlight the new comics that I pick up and show you the ones that I missed on my pre-order. So stay tuned, and I will be right back. All right, guys, so I just finished up at Third Eye Comics here in Annapolis, Maryland for New Comic Book Day. There wasn't a lot of new stuff this month, but you just saw the footage, right? You just saw the footage I shot in the store. Now, I didn't do a lot in there because I don't have a lot of time, so I wasn't going to focus on the store itself, just really the new comic books. But after I finished with the new comics, and you saw it in a clip if you were paying attention, I went and took a look at some of the recent new comics that were not fresh for this week, but in the previous weeks. And they had some really good copies of Ultimate Spider-Man #1 on the racks, still cover price. So I ended up picking up multiples and some of the new variant covers that are out there, including the first appearance of Peter Parker's family and that J. Scott Campbell cover. I picked up multiple copies of those, and I couldn't be happier to get some of these I am still waiting for my copies that I ordered from NCBD Comics to come in, and they didn't come in the last order that just got in a few days ago, but I expect that in by next month. But by that point, the heat on those books are going to be off. But I was glad that Third Eye Comics had some still in the stands, and I was able to pick up a few more copies, some variant covers that I hadn't pre-ordered. So that's excited. So I'm going to go back to the house, and I will sit down and I will show you all the new comics that I picked up for New Comic Book Day here at Third Eye Comics. And again, this is not a show where we're going to focus on any particular comics of a New Comic Book Day. This is just a, in general, New Comic Book Day video. What I do on this channel is spotlight books that I might have missed in my pre-orders. And so it's a kind of a, again, kind of a comic book haul type of video, but it is focusing on brand new comics. So hope you guys enjoy this. Sit back and I will get back to the house and we'll sit down and we'll go through the new comics that I picked up today. All right, guys, so I finally made it back home after going to New Comic Book Day at Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland. This is one of my favorite LCSs, especially for new comics, because as you could see in during the footage, you could definitely see some of the variants that they had high up above all of the brand new comics that they had. They get a ton of ratios and variants, and that's one of the reasons I started going to them as opposed to going to some of my other LCSs in the Baltimore area. They just buy so much, they can get some of those variants. So if you're into that, there's that opportunity to pick those up. But generally, I use New Comic Book Day to catch up on books that I missed pre-ordering from my normal subscription service, which is through M&M Comics. Now, with that order, I order everything 3 months in advance, and that's why I miss things, because I go over the list and I think I've got everything I want, but then something will pop up that's going to be hot and I'm going to miss out on it. And well, that's what I use New Comic Book for Day 4, is to come and catch up on those books. And that's what I did here. There were a few books that were coming out this week that I wanted to get. So what I did was I ran down there, and you saw the footage and you saw me talking about it after I came out of there, and I found some good things. My problem is, not only am I finding some of the new comics that are coming out this week that I might have missed, I get back through the, not quite the new comics for this week or even last week, but they do have new comics for the last few months. They're all up on the stands. They have a giant wall filled with books. And I'll start going through those, and I might have missed things from previous New Comic Book Days. So I never walk out of there unscathed. There's always the few books that I want to pick up because I missed them, and then there's older things that I might have missed. So I came back with a little healthy pile right here. Some of these are brand new from this particular New Comic Book Day, but the other ones are from some older New Comic Book Days, and we'll get into that. Let's just get into the books, and I'll show you what I picked up. I did pick up one copy of Power Girl Uncovered. I wasn't really sure what this is, but when you've got beautiful Power Girl artwork right here, it's hard not to pass that up. Turns out this is a pinup book with a lot of different art from a lot of different artists that have done Power Girl over the years. I'm a sucker for these type of books because these are the kind of books that eventually I like to get signed because they got so many artists in there. And being such a modern art, there's a chance that these artists will be around for a while, and hopefully we'll get some of these things to get signed. Image Comics came out with this. This is Moon Man. I did not know about this ahead of time, and I still don't know much about it, but I went ahead and picked this up. I hear there was a little bit of heat on this. Here's one that I picked up only because in my monthly subscription to M&M Comics, the video I just put out, the order I just got back in, I had ordered Avengers Incorporated #4. And to be honest with you, as much as I am an Avengers fan, I hadn't really been looking at the other side titles as much, but I did order that #4. And I was like, I don't even remember ordering the first 3 issues, but the next issue right here, this is issue right #5, just came out, and I'm going, okay, let's pick that up. I hadn't pre-ordered that. I went back and double-checked this time. I did not pre-order it. I don't know why I did #4. But that we'll get back to Avengers Incorporated in a second on this same thing. Let's just go through the new comics that came out this week that I had not pre-ordered. I was not Johnny on the spot with Avengers Twilight, the future story with Captain America, sort of that Dark Knight Returns kind of theme, that where he's an older hero and it's set in the future, and it's not, he has to come back to be a hero again for whatever reason. So I picked up issue number 2, but I also picked up a couple variants on this one as well. They had this beautiful Iron Man red cover right here. I thought this was really striking. And then they had this one right here where I wouldn't have picked this one up, except it's got Tony Stark's son right here, and I'm sitting there going, okay, if that's going to be a thing, if that's going to be a key first appearance, this is going to be his first cover, I think I might as well go ahead and pick that up. So let's set these down on the side here. And also I did pick up this. This is Voices, Marvel Voices. Now I am generally, I'd gotten some of these early voice issues, but to be honest, I really had dropped most of these. But obviously with February here and you have Black History Month, you've got a lot of the African American characters from Marvel right here. But what actually struck me was I actually like the artwork right there. And these are all characters. Most of the characters I really like. So I thought I would go ahead and pick that up. And the only other new comic book from this week that I ended up picking up was this right here. And I have pre-ordered some of the regular facsimiles on this, but I didn't buy the foil version of the facsimile for Spider-Man 252. And I took my time on this. They had all the foils bagged and boarded, and it wasn't even it wasn't cover price. They were charging a lot more for the foils on this. But I took my time and I actually went over to the side where they had a little table, and I actually took a couple copies of this out of the bag and board. I wanted to pick out a really pristine copy. You know how I am with facsimiles. You know how I like to get these things graded at certain times. And this is a book right here where I may try to actually get this one signed along the way, just like I have done with my original copy of Spider-Man 252, which I'm still working on. I'm working with the 5 different creators on there, and I still need to get Roger Stern. And I'm looking at everybody. I think everybody's still alive. Everybody's still here. I may try to do this as a project in the future. I may take this copy right here and try to get that one as a signed copy as well. So that was what I got. Those were the new comic books that had come out. So these are some of the things that I had missed and I wanted to fill back in. Well, let's talk about what else was I looking for. Well, we were just talking about that Avengers Incorporated. Well, I decided, you know what? Let's go and see if they've got back issues. And what did I find? They've got issue number 1. And they had issue number 3. And for whatever reason, why did I pre-order number 4, but I didn't do the first 3? I have no idea. But I went ahead and they didn't have issue 2 there, but I did pick up issues 1 and 3. But they also had the variant to issue number 1. Let's go back to that cover real quick. They had the variant. It's the Alex Ross variant right there. It is the same art that you'll find on the variant to Timeless number 1, where you have a double gatefold. You have 4 pages of cover that come out, and you have all these Avenger characters that he has illustrated. This is one panel of that just for this. So this is not a gatefold cover for this particular issue of Avengers Incorporated, but it is the same art that you will find, or at least partially a quarter of it, that you'll find on that Timeless variant. But I can't pass up Alex Ross artwork like this, and this is just very beautiful artwork. I love his work, so couldn't pass that up. And let's see what else we've got here that was... So that kind of brings us to something that if you were paying attention, and I hinted at this before in the video when I was back in the car there, before I came here and sat here in the studio, I go back through the older issues. And when I say older issues, I'm talking about the new comics for the last, in some cases, it goes back
3, 4, 5 months of issues of brand new comics. And on the stands there, they're literally just stacked in order if they're still available. And some of these have got a lot of copies. And when I did my last video, one of the things that I had missed, well, I shouldn't say I missed it, but I didn't get extras of it, was Ultimate Spider-Man #1. And they had one, when I got there, it was a week after Ultimate Spider-Man #1 had come out. It was not a big week. It was my last video I just did on this. And you saw the version of that cover that I've got. I don't remember who the artist was on that. They had a ton of that particular cover, but they didn't have anything else. And then I went to this, they had all those copies on a side rack, and they had a few, I think, already on their main back issue stands, modern, recent back issues on the stands, and they didn't have anything else. Well, that doesn't stop me when I go back the next week to look in that same spot to see if maybe they have some other copies of some things. And as I said, if you were watching the montage, you saw what I picked up. So let's just go through it right here. Here, let's set this down. So in the rack, they had other Ultimate Spider-Man #1s right there. And they had this right here. The J. Scott Campbell cover with Mary Jane and the new Peter Parker from this new Ultimate Universe. And it is absolutely gorgeous. It is on the top 10 list on Covrprice. It still is. There's still at least 3 or 4 of these covers that are on there. This is one of them. And here you go. I picked up 3 copies of that right there. But hold on. Again, if you're watching the video, you know that wasn't just it. They also had one of these, and I don't remember the artist on this one right here, but being another variant cover, I just went ahead and picked it up. But they had this one right here. It is the first cover appearance of the family all together, and they had a couple copies of that. And so I picked up 2 of those as well. And these books are going pretty good. I mean, these are $18, $20, $25, $30 books right now. So I was pretty lucky to find these, add these to the PC. The prices on these things have really gone up. I'm definitely going to keep a copy. I'll put a couple of these up on my eBay store. So if you guys are interested, you can check out my eBay store. The link's in the description below if you're interested in these. I can sell these as a lot if you want. But I was pretty excited to be able to find these 3 weeks, basically 4 weeks, 3 weeks after Ultimate Spider-Man had come out, and it's still one of the hottest comic books out there because of all these different covers. I think the main cover A is still the hot issue. I don't even have that one yet, only because it is supposed to be in my pre-order with M&M Comics, and it didn't make it in the last shipment. I'm hoping it'll make it in the next month's shipment, and I'll have that copy to hold on to. And I think I've got, I know I picked up, there's 2 more in there, and I don't know which cover it is. I think it's either the cover with the black suit or the $20.99 Spider-Man. I cannot remember which one I pre-ordered, but I should have those as well, which they didn't have in the store. But I was so happy, especially to get the family image right here by Ryan Stegman. So that was pretty cool. So there is New Comic Book Day for this particular week. Again, this episode, this type of episode I'm going to put out isn't going to be timely. It's going to be usually a week, maybe 2, maybe 3 weeks after the fact. But we're going to spotlight, just like any other comic book haul, we're going to spotlight these books and spotlight New Comic Book Day and just you can join me on this adventure of comic book hauls and everything. And these are the comics that I'm picking up on New Comic Book Day. Just take it for that. Don't take it as information that you need to go and, oh, you should have gotten this book or anything. I mean, I'm going to be so late. There's so many other YouTubers who do timely videos. They do videos day of New Comic Book Day, and you should be buying this book, and, oh, these are great books, or these are awful books. That's not what I'm doing. These are basically comic book hauls, but just reflect what we do on New Comic Book Day. Anyway, I'm rambling. Guys, thank you for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed this. If you're ever interested in anything you see in the channel, just contact me at collectorauctions@yahoo.com or DM me on Instagram. And again, you can check out what I currently have for sale on my eBay store or Shopbox page by checking out the links in the description down below. And definitely leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think of these books. Have you enjoyed Ultimate Spider-Man? I've thumbed through it, but I haven't really sat down and read it yet, so I think I'm going to do that now and enjoy myself a little bit. But definitely leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of that. That's it, guys. I'm out of here. I'm tired. I will see you for the next show. And remember, guys, every comic has a story.